Well, President Trump sounding off on Chicago following a string of violent crimes, including the 26-year-old woman set on fire on a train last week.
They burned this beautiful woman riding in a train. A man was arrested 72 times. We could make Chicago a safe city in a period of 4 weeks. And if you look at the crime that's taken place in Chicago in the last 2 weeks, just take a look. It's on the front page of every newspaper. It's out of control.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson acknowledged the city's shortfalls following a separate fatal shooting incident on Friday after the city's Christmas tree lighting. Watch.
What we put in place did not do enough to prevent what we were concerned about from actually manifesting.
Let's bring in Chicago Alderman Raymond Lopez. Raymond, that acknowledgement by Mayor Johnson is a different sort of tag. We haven't heard that from him before, but why is he doing that now, and what's your reaction?
Well, Griff, good morning. I think the reason that the mayor's pivoting now is that he understands that Chicagoans are fed up with his failures, and he knows that Election Day is less than 8 months from today. You know, he could say and try to pivot all he wants, but all of these failures come right back to his doorstep. The blood is on his hands for what we've seen happen this weekend, because when it came to the teen takeover and the 300 individuals that descended on downtown, we had the opportunity to institute a snap curfew that would have allowed the police to better manage that. He vetoed that ordinance because he didn't want to profile black children. When it comes to the CTA and the burning of that poor woman, he has handcuffed not only our Chicago police, but transit police as well, not allowing them to use all of the tools as well as follow these individuals when they are on the trains causing chaos. This falls at his feet squarely, and he knows that Chicagoans have had enough.
And you know, Raymond, just to remind our viewers, this individual you're talking about, Lawrence Reed, has such a criminal history going back to 1993, 72 arrests, 8 of them felony convictions, 7 misdemeanor convictions. You just wonder, what in the world is that individual doing out?
Well, this is the gruesome effect of liberal, socialist, quasi-communist policies here in the city of Chicago, where that revolving door of justice and sympathy were intertwined, allowing individuals out, thanks to people like Kim Foxx, thanks to the policies and politics of people like Brandon Johnson, and those of the allies of the governor, J.B. Pritzker, who created the Safety Act, which is a misnomer. We have to do better, and I think what we've seen is more compassion and empathy from Donald Trump wanting to correct this than we've gotten from our own mayor or our own other elected officials here who want to pretend this is a manufactured crisis. It is a manufactured crisis, a crisis they created by all of their bad policies and all of their criminal enablement that has gone on for the past 5 years.
Well, and Raymond, it seems that President Trump is so compelled to get involved because of the violent crime in that great city. The year to date, you're looking at 385 murders, nearly 1,400 shootings, more than 5,000 robberies, ridiculous amount of felony theft. How does Mayor Johnson run in that election on this sort of record in his watch?
Well, Brandon Johnson's going to run on a record that says, don't believe your lying eyes. Don't believe what you see and hear going on around you. Forget that those are just property crimes. It doesn't really impact you. It's a big business and all of that. But what we know is this. When we had the chance to bring in the National Guard before, the mayor and the governor said, no, we don't need it. And we had 57 people shot, 9 people killed. I believe that was Labor Day weekend. We've had multiple offerings by this president to say, let me send in people to help, even just provide presence so that your police officers can go back into communities and do constitutional policing and get the bad guys. And at every turn, they have said no. I know that the communities I represent and overall everyone in the city of Chicago wants to feel safe this holiday season, but every day of the year. And now we have a chance to see if the president is going to make good on that. I would say to my Democratic colleagues, if you don't believe him, call his bluff and let's see what he has to offer. But at the end of the day, if we could bring numbers down even 5 points more, as we saw during Operation Midway Blitz,
Sure.
let's do it.
Well, and let me just, Alderman, get one last comment from you in the few seconds I've got left, and that is the opposition from Mayor Johnson opposing ICE and federal immigration law enforcement. We now know that one of the migrant teens, 16-year-old from Venezuela, charged in killing a homeless man.
There were multiple teen Venezuelans that were involved in that, and what we have seen is the politicians here in the city of Chicago trying to create cover and sympathy for our quote-unquote new neighbors. But this is not what our welcoming city was meant to be. It was not meant to be something that protects criminals. And we used to have it in place where if you chose to go down this path, we would allow our federal partners to remove you.
Right.
That's where we need to get back to. That's the changes we need to make here in the city of Chicago.
It doesn't seem, Mr. Alderman, that that's going to happen under this current Mayor Johnson. Raymond Lopez, thank you very much for taking time, and have a happy Thanksgiving.
Have a great Thanksgiving, everyone.
All right.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.